Hey, welcome back to Shrimp of the House Recall Part 7. This is the 23rd page I'm working on in this story, but officially it will be page 3, right? Page 3? Yeah, page 3. We're in the home stretch now. I've only got 2 pages left to go, and this story will be done. That way is good. Um, I've already kind of, since I'm this close and I've settled that the last 4 pages are going to be this sequence here, I did go ahead and renumber all the pages in the folder. So that now they're in proper sequence. Let's got the truck parented to his hand, so I'm going to unparent that. And 90? Yep, okay. And Control D, bring it to the floor. Um, hmm. Let's see. Okay, so what I need to do is let's find the Z. This is the Z axis. I'm just going to copy that number. And I think. Stupid truck. There it is. I think if I copy it, it should put the truck in line with where he is. Uh-huh. So, I mean, when I envisioned doing a scene like this, I was probably going to do what I've done before and sort of do a live play with the action figures. But this will end up harkening back to that first story. And I think we saw it a little bit actually throughout those first 4 stories. You know, this will almost be like the babysitter where he's throwing his cars at at Alex. This sort of harkens back to the idea that he's kind of violent with his toys, that he's awful destructive. doesn't really treat them with any sort of respect. Let's see. I think we're gonna have the truck off its wheels for a little bit. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is going to end up being, this page is going to be a lot in layers. So, whoops, I don't want rotate, I want translate. We're just going to drop the truck out of the scene. And I want this computer to go dark, so desk, PC, I want monitor, come into surfaces. And I know these aren't labeled descriptively, but I've been working with this enough to know that material 25 is my monitor. So we're just going to go none, and then shift the diffuse to black. Although actually, I could have just done that in the first place, but oh well. So it's going to be 63A. And render. It's kind of this part, I think at this point, for me working on it, is getting a little weird. Doing it out of order. It's I'm used to just sort of free flowing these scenes, letting like the next one kind of ride naturally from the one previously, whereas this one in here I've got to make this fit with the pages I've already done in this part that come afterwards. It's sort of, there's no room left to do a scene with Aiden getting trouble or getting in trouble again, or Liz feeling sorry for David and him being mad, blah blah blah. But it's like all stuff we've done before in this, or I should say I've done before. I don't know. I, I've got that habit of talking about myself in the third person sometimes. But then again, it's kind of like you're coming along for the ride. So, I can say we, you, me, Aiden here. But, it's all stuff that's been done before. I think you can, I think the reader can assume. I think the reader is intelligent enough to sort of to figure that it's happened. And I think too with the flashback scenes, I'm showing the reader that there's a lot going on off page that even if it didn't end up in the flashback, you can assume it's still there. And while we're sitting here waiting, I do expect that the second layer will go quickly because there'll be nothing else in the scene to render. It's kind of like if you sort of watch these, if you sort of like dedicated in watching these, if you've managed to stick through, I've done layering in different books in the past, so when I go with the largely transparent layer, you'll know before I take the... Oh no, I got the light. Okay. So I can do David. And that stupid chair again. You'll know that this layer, because there's nothing but the truck to render, it should come relatively quickly. And we're just going to open. So there's layer 1. And not in this panel, but the next one, I'm going to try for something, try for an effect I haven't done before. I don't know if effect is the right word. I think try for something visually. You'll see what I mean. I'm going to try something different with the next panel. That's okay. So I guess truck isn't going to... Yeah, there I go. Every time I open my mouth and say something is going to happen, it never does. And this story overall, like I keep kind of mentioning, I hope this story would have been done on the 31st or by the 31st, and this one will end up, and it'll end up coming a half a week after the start of April. Oh my god, it's just the stupid truck. There's nothing else in the scene to render. Oh my god. If I was doing this in 3 to light, I'd already have the truck here. Oh my god. But I think it's safe to say I'll have this completely done probably by the end of the weekend. It might be Monday, but before it goes up. But I've done enough of these now, enough books now. I'm going to do linear motion blur. Yeah. 30. Okay, 30 it is. That once I have the draft, everything that comes after, it's pretty standard. Oh, I don't want B. Every all the work that comes after getting a draft done, it's pretty standard in how long it takes to go from completed draft to finished project. Discard. And so far I haven't had any, I think in 20 whatever, I haven't had any issues that have really delayed that timeline. So I think it's safe to say that that's one time where it's safe to say this will be. Uh, um, what I'm going to do is wait before cutting this one because I have a feeling I want the next panel to be the longer one, but I'm not quite sure yet if it will, in which case this will be a half and half panel. It'll be split in the middle. So, what do I want? Oops. Where's the truck? Hmm. Oh, I'm gonna take you off to. Shoot. I'm just gonna park the motorcycle into unused. And I'll probably forget about it, but now let's see. I'm trying to think how I want to do this. The idea is I want it tipped because we're dealing with sort of a crash situation here. So what I want is like this. And actually, we're gonna go like this. Control D. And I'm gonna tilt it this way. So I think so the idea is I want to tip the truck slightly. But the problem is the truck and the trailer are two separate pieces. I've got the trailer parented to the truck. So if I twist the trailer is going to twist too. So I think, oh my god. Oh, not this thing. This one trailer. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is let's twist the trailer that way. And then where's the truck bill here? And then bill can be twisted that way. Whoops. I gotta parent David to it. Shit. Or David starts to look funny. And then Control D and Control D. You know what? I'm gonna get away with this sort of twisting. Okay. Um, so let's number this 164A. Um, Let's see. And I said I was going to do something different with this panel, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably not really as different as I thought. I think I know I've been like talking about some of the long-term plans with the series. Well, I've got time to do. I think when they move into the new houses in a year, in 4 or 5 stories. I'm really debating on how many bedrooms to put there because I'd like to continue the theme that Jackson just can't get out of sharing a room with Aiden. So it would continue that theme if they went from 4 bedrooms to 3. Um, oh shoot. I don't know why this is happening with David. Um, for some reason, I shouldn't be having an issue with the scaling. So I'm going to copy that number. Just parent you again. See, for some reason, it shouldn't. Oh. It's because the scale of the truck. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, there we go. So now we're under that. I'm going to go deleting the other picture. So I'd like to kind of keep that joke going where, you sort of have this, when they're at the expectation of moving into a new place, Jackson starts presuming that they're going to have the same number of bedrooms. He'll be able to get his own room. And then they move in and he's still stuck with Aiden. And it sort of leads to something I wanted to do with, I think it was Showtime. It was an idea I've had for a while that, like, in that storyline of him trying to get out from that room, one of his options in that scenario was going to be showing up at Uncle Danny's house and asking to move into their spare bedroom. So I think if I do it this way, then the variation is that he bothers brother Alex to move into his spare bedroom. Because I'm pretty sure that the two houses are going to be identical in layout, design, whatever. Maybe I'll look into trying to reverse the layout. So it's like the same layout but mirrored, but like a mirror reverse sort of thing. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but the idea is if David and Liz have three bedrooms, then Alex is going to have three bedrooms, which he should only theoretically use two for him and his wife, and then the other one for the baby. Okay, so now we got the proper file. And like I said, I'm kind of experimenting here, playing. Let's open. Open as layers. No images. Backgrounds. Oh, shoot. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, it wasn't a background I was looking for. For some reason, I was thinking this was something from Photoshop, not GIMP. So what I did was I put in a solid red layer, and then for this one, it was under Filter, Render, and Line Nova. So to set the settings, hit OK, and it generates the black lines radiating outward, so that I end up with that. Put it over the red layer and put both of those behind the trucks. I want red for danger. Red alert, guys. Okay, so export as. Like I said, something different. I sat and rendered. Uh, okay, that didn't export. Oh my god. This is being stupid. Here we go. I sat and rendered the background to see what it looked like in there instead of the red layer, and it looks bad. It looks bad with the background behind the. Like I'll show you. This was B. See, it just looks bad. So discard those changes. Let's come in and go File, Open as Layers. Okay, yes. Let me see. I got it. I wanted this to go wide, and I got Although, let's move it over just a little. Select none. Okay. And I think too, with if there's 2 bedrooms, no, I don't have this one. Okay, so there. Let's set the background. Now we'll put in a new layer, my black background. Um, it does, am thinking, um, of a possible subplot at some point too, where, and I'd have to design the house like that, but the idea that he decides to make, Jackson that is, decides to make um, either the basement or the attic into his bedroom. He ends up taking over one or the other, which means I'd have to design the house with either a basement or an attic. Ugh. Save. Okay. Um. Hmm. So, what I'm going for. Control D. Is that he didn't actually throw it hard enough to knock the trailer completely over. So hopefully I can just zero these out and these will be lined up again. There we go. I think I can take David out. Okay. Oh no, I'm on this side of the panel, so let's X that out so I make it unselectable. And I have hidden properties on, so let's take the hidden properties off. No, I'll go this way. Not that much. Okay, maybe not. How much room do I have to... See, I think that's the problem too, where I sort of decided not to go down to 6 inches or less with him. He's not quite small enough to really fit. So the idea is that he's cramped and can't really do much. He's got no room to move. I don't think, I'm not sure if you're going to see much at this angle, but okay, you know what? I think that's good. 65. Uh, oops. There we go. If I'm not mistaken, I think at this point, right here at this point in time, he still thinks he's going to shrink to nothing and cease to exist. You know, let's. So maybe it's like in The Shrinking Man where he too thinks he's going to die, but he's still fighting to survive that one extra day. Oops. But some of the things, I think where this one's going to get a little more complicated than usual in the editing round is that I want to go back and kind of label the days on the page. Because there might be one or two points in the story where it's just a little confusing that time has passed. And I think, and one thing that's got to change is as of the time I'm recording this, um, the page that will end up being page 1 in this part is meant to have an introductory. Oh, shoot, his hair is through the windows. Okay. Let's take the camera off for a second. It's meant to have an introductory text, but I didn't quite put it in. Okay. Sort of like as of the time I'm recording this, I left that blank, and I'll kind of figure out what to put there, how to word it when the time comes. because like right now, just doing this part out of order, like I can't really come up with anything that flows from the previous part into this one. So I'll wait and take in the whole story, and I'll be able to come up with something that flows at that point. And I think too, I want to see how. I think I want to see how I handle those kind of tags, so to speak. Shoot, now that I'm thinking about this, I'm looking at this picture. This might actually work. I'm thinking I want this to be the fourth panel and not the third. So, to everybody that follows along on Patreon, when I post these completed parts, I'm not sure how many of you read the parts as they come out and then just kind of gloss over the final edited version just to get to that last part versus kind of reading the whole thing from scratch to to see what changes were made or to remind yourselves what happened. But I think this is one that definitely is going to be this is definitely going to be some significant changes. Maybe not significant, but there's definitely going to be some changes more so than previous books. Okay, so I think I want this one here. Which means you are going to go transform this way. So let's bring it in just a little bit. I guess it's let's see. He's going to kill me. Okay. I think, was it the previous part? I think it was part 6 where I was talking about how I got a little bit distracted with a new idea. I think it was. I want to say it was in sort of the set of videos I made for part 6. I was kind of brainstorming an idea that had come to me, and I was playing around with characters at that point. And the unparent. Yeah, see, I want to have Aiden say something before we cut to David. And let me zoom in on his head. Don't really need him touching his head. It's more of like waving his hands in the air kind of thing. Um, oh, that's why. Used. So it's the idea. The idea is it's a kid who let's see, well, there's an accident on the highway. It's 100 car pile up. So it's, granted it's going to be a near future story, so it'll be a little more sci-fi ish in its setup, but the idea is it's sort of an undersized kid whose parents can't afford genetic enhancement to compensate, to make up for it. Um, Enrolls him in a trial for a drug that's supposed to accomplish almost the same, sort of the same thing, in exchange for in exchange for access to the trial. He's to enroll in sort of their training camp because um, and this is going to sound worse than it is, but they're using the kids to put together some sort of a sports team, or to participate in a sports league. They're the sponsors for this quote unquote team, so to speak. And I don't mean use as in like abuse. I mean, I just mean it's in the simple form that it's sort of like I don't know, maybe you understand what I'm trying to say, but the idea is like in exchange for access to the trial, he the kid signs on to participate in this league. Maybe participate is a better word, is the word I want. But it's sort of a multi-year story. The idea is it's going to be a long-term story, like talking like like years, multiple multi-years. So it's the idea where like initially, whereas initially he signs on, he's maybe 16 or 17. He ends up, maturing into his early 20s. And it's like I get to thinking of it, and I've sort of been kind of brainstorming that one too, and different possibilities, different things, and sort of, I feel like it could end up being similar to Burn Pit in that it start that like it starts off on this simple premises and then just kind of spirals outward and outward to where it's almost like just an ongoing drama. With Burn Pit, I kind of had to rein it in because it was just because there were like so many elements that it could have just kept going on forever. And it's sort of like some of the stuff I'm brainstorming with this one could end up being in that same vein. Um, okay, let's take that one. I don't really have a lot of vehicles here. Close that. House. In my head right now, I'm just kind of brainstorming the next few panels or how this is going to play out. I'm like, oh, so I'm thinking the next one, the next panel, the one I'm coming up with now. Is it this thing? This thing. Let's unpair this one. So I'm thinking with this one, he's going to say, oh, here comes the army. Yeah. And then I'm looking at the tank, and I'm thinking, oh, now the tank force is here. Like the tank force is its own, like the tank force is its own branch of the military. Oh, oh, the tank force is here now. Let's delete these. Grab. Oh, you know what? I was going to have him hold it, but I think I can do this similar to the first one. Where I do it in layers and blur the truck. Okay, same thing. Seven A. I gotta take the truck out of the scene. Actually, you know what? The same way I did before. We'll just drop it below the floor. What the heck? Oh my gosh. The army is here now. So So what I'm looking to do with this and the next page is, because I've got to transition to, I've got to sort of transition to Alex getting his history grade directly from the teacher. I'm gonna trim this a little bit more because I have a weird feeling and I can't shake it. So I'm kind of thinking of closing this scene on the next page, where David says something to the effect that he can't wait until the other boys come home. Sort of, it kind of makes a comment like that. So I'm gonna have to trim this one a little bit more. Oops. Okay, so let's open those layers here. And we were going blur, zoom, zoom motion. No, not zoom motion. Linear motion. Oh my god, linear motion. And we were going with 30. Oops. What? Oh my god. There we go. Why do you have to auto suggest all the time? So discard those. Let's come back in here and go file. Open in layers. This one. Okay. Layered image size. Let's cut. And then let's bring this, yeah, I'll let it overlap. The army is here now. Ah! So, let's see. I can leave Aiden in there for now. David's house. Actually, let's grab David and zoom on him. Can I have him hunch over or a little bit more? Okay. I was going to make this a simple scene of just him. It would look more effective, but maybe I'll stage this anyway and see what it looks like. Now, this is the X. It's gotta go positive. Oops. Wrong way. Oh, it's not even close to the truck. No, I don't want it that much. Yeah, this might work. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is let's take out the house. Zoom out just a little bit. And we're going to render that. 68. Render. So then we figured it out. Figured out what I wanted to do before. Let me just open any one of these for a spacer, so to speak. I want to go new layer. Let's go transparency. And then I'm going to take this one, and I think it's you, right? And we're just going to fill. This should be fill whole selection. Okay. And I'm going to take this one, and here we go render. Line Nova, all my settings from before are still here, so we will click OK and let it do its thing. And it should be doing it on the transparent layer. Oh, joy. Okay, so it changes back to black. Okay, and let's try that again. Render line nova. Yes, okay. So it's the idea in this image is that the second truck sort of takes the blow from the third truck. Okay. And then we just wait for this. See, he didn't aim it at the tractor trailer straight on, so it hits the box truck. Save, and then we will put it in here. Open as layers. I like that. But the thing is, I should have saved that as A. So I'm going to change the name of the file of the picture. So then I go File, Export As. I'll select this and just drop the A and hit Enter. So I should be able to close that. Let's discard. Come over here. Open as layers. And the idea on it is right here. We're just having fun. There's nothing really serious about this. Nothing story changing. Scale layer 34. I think even though I want David at this sort of as the center of the picture, I think I'm going to offset him to get more of the accident. Yeah, I think that's good. So let's save, image flatten, and when we go to export, because we've been messing with the layered images and saving them as PNGs, it's going to default to PNG. Okay, so that's page 3. Let's have a look at that. And it's up here. Crash. There's an accident on the highway. It's a 100-car pileup. He's gonna kill me. And the army is here now. Crash. Well, that is what will end up being page 3, even though this is the 23rd page I've created. This is the 23rd page I've created in this part, if going by order. I hope that was entertaining. I will see you next time.